Welcome one, welcome all to the Expansion Pass. Thoughtful discussions on games without the console more noise. Please make sure you subscribe, be it on iTunes, Spotify, or of course right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost. Today, as always, joined by my co-host, the intrepid Captain Logan. And this week we are tracking Xbox continued restructuring as strong pivots toward pillar franchises seem to be the way that they are proceeding. Assassin's Creed Black Flag has quickly gathered a massive audience and some pretty positive reviews. And there's more trouble on the horizon for PlayStation and the physical crowd. We'll break that all down. Logan, we like to start the show by offering words of kindness to those who have made our gaming weeks better. But first, how are you, my friend?
I am good. I have finished up a review and that got shipped on Monday. And I was very surprised that I was able to actually get it done because I think I had 4 days to get it done in. So thankfully that fell on a 3-day weekend. But yeah, I celebrated my birthday this last Monday, and it was pretty good. So I actually have some news about that I forgot to go and actually get the thing of. So next time that you're actually talking, I'm probably going to run over and grab the thing that I got for my birthday.
I'm excited to see it because I know what it is, but of course I want to see it.
Most people, and at least in the Discord, know what it was. But yeah,
we do have a pretty great Discord. They're awesome people. Well, yeah, I mean, so you've done an incredible job for the channel this week. While I was finishing a paper and being an academic, you go ahead. I'll just sing your praises if you want to go grab it. While I was being a student and being addicted to the Division 2, which I'll talk about later, Logan was cranking out content. If you guys didn't check out his Tomb Raider review, or preview, I should say, his Tomb Raider preview is popping off over on our channel. We're really proud of it, doing absolutely great. That one was some of his best editing ever, but then he followed up with the Assassin's Creed Black Flag review, which he's the absolute right person to do that, but he did an incredible job with it. And I've seen so many of our community go in and hit the like button and leave a comment, which helps us so much. It helps with engagement. So if you haven't done that for our Star Fox, for our Tomb Raider, for our Assassin's Creed, please drop a comment in there also, because it really does help along with the likes. But he has just been pushing out content in the best of ways, which has been great for me because I've had a chance to focus on other stuff. I've had this JSOX review written for 2 weeks now, and I just haven't had time to film it. Let me rephrase. I've had time to film it, but I haven't needed to because Logan's been putting out our content. But also, I got addicted to a game that is Logan's fault, which I'll talk about in a bit.
Again?
Yes, it is consistently your fault. And I do blame you. And the nerd chat, oddly enough. So, but while you're getting your birthday gift to yourself ready to show, just want to give shout outs to Clutch Kwando in the chat. He is the recipient of a gift from us as well. Nissa Hauer, X Bacon Gaming, and the Nerd Chat are all hanging out in our chat as well. Good to see you guys. Happy Saturday. I do, while you're settling, I just real quick, we're going to be giving away some codes during this show. We did give away our big code, one of our big codes, to Clutch Kwando for his consistent support and patronage of our channel. He was the recipient of a Black Flag code, so he's going to be playing Black Flag courtesy of the expansion pass. And we've got our list of codes that we were using to help raise money for SGF. We've still got a bunch of those codes left over, and we would like to give them away to people that are patronizing, supporting the show, that kind of stuff. So we'll figure out a way to do that as well. Now, Logan, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Show the YouTube viewers what it is you got.
I got an Xbox Ally X.
Cool.
So this has been my baby. I have it till I think August. I got till I think September actually. I got 60 days to give it a try. But I wanted to get one of these because we are getting the Xbox Series X's from the fine folks over at Xbox for that 25th anniversary. And I wanted to kind of treat myself for my birthday. Really probably shouldn't have, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I'm going to be selling my Logitech G Cloud, and I'm going to be selling my original Xbox Series X in November when I get the green one. And I wanted to get the Xbox ROG Ally X because I fear that eventually this is going to go up in price. And I want to get in at the $1,000 mark before it goes up. But I wanted to pick it up because I feel like this thing is one of those things. Neither of us got one, either to review or just to have. But you have a Steam Deck, and that has been like your bread and butter. And you were planning on the Steam machine up until like we found out that PlayStation was going to remove their first party content from Steam and
future first party content.
Yeah, like after a while, they just kind of like started to pull away from Steam and PC. And that was one of those things I was like, well, when we do reviews, it's usually easier for us to get Steam codes because those don't require like authentication for all intents and purposes. So a lot of the reviews that I tend to do for the show come in through Steam. And I thought, well, if I'm going to get Steam content, I still want to have access to my Xbox library. Plus, I have all these games on like Ubisoft. I have all these games on EA and Epic and all these other launchers on my PC. And the Xbox ROG Ally X is effectively PC. So having the updates that they've done with like the Xbox big mode and like the handheld mode and stuff and Steam's kind of mode has been really interesting to actually jump in and get. And I have to say, like, I'm going to be real honest, Luke. If you didn't have a Steam Deck, I would say you would probably love having the Ally X over a Steam Deck. Because I don't think that you're one for really using the touchpads.
No.
And this thing has, like, I've got Lego Batman and 007 First Light on here with like Sea of Thieves. Now I know the camera's blowing out the image, so apologies there, but those are both on Steam. And they run and play perfectly. They're so nice. And it's just like having a Steam machine. But then I've got Sea of Thieves right there, my Xbox. And I've got all my Xbox Game Pass games. I've got all my Xbox PC games all running right there next to it. And that's not even taking into account the fact that I have my Ubisoft launcher on here. So I could jump back into Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced if I wanted to. Or I have my Epic launcher if I want to jump into Fortnite, or if I want like any of the free games that Epic has given away, things like that. It's really nice, dude. I'm going to be 100% honest. So far, I'm sold on the feel of it. I'm sold on the convenience. I'm looking at a JSOX dock that I can put on my TV downstairs so that I can hook it up and plug it in there and use like a Bluetooth Xbox controller with it. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It's expensive, but it does exactly what I wanted. And having come from like a Logitech G Cloud mindset of like streaming my games and stuff like that, dude, playing natively like you are on Steam. Yeah. It makes a world of difference. Absolutely makes a world of difference playing natively.
Man, I want one. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. Right. I don't think I can part with my Steam Deck because there's an emotional element to it. Like that was Valve saying, hey, we trust you to do a review. Go do it. Here you go. Yeah. So I think that's part of it for me. But I really do want one because of all the things you just listed. And I like that, which we'll talk about. But I really liked Xbox's new direction, which, I'm sure people will be upset about. But like, it makes me want to continue to invest in the ecosystem where part of the Steam machine was like, all right, I should put my money elsewhere. But I do want one. It's just that like I don't want to spend $1,000 on that. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's kind of my kicker. But it does seem sweet. And like I like your idea of selling your old Xbox or like when the green one comes in. Because as Joe likes to say, we're Ash's chosen. I didn't realize I'm wearing the hoodie for it today too.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Hello, comment section. Welcome. So Laura. Like that's not a bad thought there. But I don't think I can justify it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I do like that. Oh man, it does.
I mean, I like if we didn't go to SGF, I probably would have like the money available to be able to like pick up one of those other things. Getting the Xbox is just making it a little bit easier for me.
Mhm.
So that's just one of those, like, I'm gonna see about selling, because I don't need two Xbox Series X's at this point.
Mhm.
So I will absolutely look to see if I can sell off the older hardware
Yeah.
and just hang on to the custom one that we're getting and stuff. And I mean, if they had handed out like these guys at SGF, that would have been cool. I'd have been fine with that as well too. I will happily, like, I will concede that yes, I spent more on this than I probably will if it had been like the green Xbox Series X. But at the same time, like, I have ways to mitigate the cost of this.
Sure.
So it is hard to suggest at the cost that it is, but I will say that I am sold on the experience of being able to play games, tweak the settings. And the nice thing is like, like, I, as a PC gamer predominantly, have really not had to tinker with this. And I think having Armory Crate, as like a thing that I can open up, and it gives me options as far as like what settings I want to enable or restrict, has been nice. But it is absolutely something that I don't think that you would have to really play around with that much out of the box. Like, it genuinely works really, really well out of the box without having to mess around with stuff.
Which is what talks to me, right? Because I don't want to mess with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I know I've talked about on here, like, the money that I had started putting aside for the Steam machine, a lot of that funneled towards my Switch 2. And I'm really glad I got Switch 2. Let me just be very blunt. Like, that has been wonderful to reinvest into that ecosystem, because it's a lot of stuff that for the last 5 years, 6 years, since 2020, 2019, had kind of just been on hold while we focused on Xbox content and such. Yeah. So, like, I've really enjoyed accessing that library, and I'm a diehard Metroid and Star Fox fan, so I'm eating great right now. That has been very nice to go back in there. And the Switch 2 is genuinely wonderful, but it's Nintendo and Apple are the two companies. It's pick up, go. No muss, no fuss. And if you're telling me that the Xbox ROG Ally X is a lot less fuss than it once was, for sure, when it first launched, but that it's very simple and just go, that is a big bonus for me. And it does make me kind of, hindsight is always 2020. I don't think I'm upset with my choices to, like, sell my Series S or my Switch 1s. My PlayStation 5, I did part with. I'm not regretting it. Let me just be blunt, but I am like, would it be nice? The problem is it would be nice for stuff that I don't know exists yet, because I'm not overly interested in Wolverine, which is strange. There's not a Spider-Man 3. There's not a game coming from PlayStation that I'm like, I have to play this. With respect to Lafayette, it just didn't like it looks great, by the way, but I'm not like in it. So,
oh my God.
The problem is that, like, if I do want to go back to that ecosystem, I'm going to have to spend all that money again. Right.
Yeah.
Because for the foreseeable future, everything is going to be cross-gen. It's going to be, right. There's no way they can sell a $1,200 console and then say, this is exclusive to that $1,200 console. They could say exclusive to ecosystem. So that's my only, like, hang up on that front. But I'm very pleased with my Switch purchase. I do think the ROG Ally X is the perfect companion to the way that I game. Because I, like, last night after I was done, I went to bed, but I was like, you know what? I forgot to run my Dead by Daylight dailies. Pulled out my Steam Deck, logged in, because it's cross progression, as all games should be. And I was just like, this is great. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, if I had that. So there's that element to it, Yeah.
The one caveat that I currently have with the ROG Ally X is I feel the pinch of that restrictive hard drive. I would have to invest in a nice SD card that would give me a decent chunk of space to be able to have, like, those pick up and drop kind of goes. Because, like, when I'm on my PC, I have like a 4 terabyte hard drive that has, like, games, podcasting, documents, things that I need, like, on the regular basis. That's not operating system or, like, editing software for my main drive. So I'm used to having access to a bunch of games, like, somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 10 to 20 games at any time if I just have that urge to drop into one of them.
Yeah.
And that is not a luxury that you can just have with handheld gaming unless you stream content. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that's one of those things that it's like, right now I've got 3 games on my ROG Ally. I still have room, but I haven't picked my favorite child to add to the hard drive at this point. Like, what is that one game that I want on there that I'm going to enjoy? Because I feel like, honestly, and if this wants to be a segue for you or not, I really have been enjoying the content that I've been doing in Division 2. Mm-hmm. And that is one of those games that's like, I could absolutely jump into that and have that. But I could also do that with Grounded 2. I could also do that with Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. There's all these games that I'm just I just want to pop in for a little bit and do some stuff and not feel like I'm having to spend 4 or 5 hours in there, right?
That's why I'm all digital, because I pop between games as well.
Yeah.
That is 100% why I'm all digital.
That's what I like about my Switch, though, is with my Switch, that's easy. I have one little thing and it has 8 different games, and those games are my pick up and plays, and they sit in the case. And when I want to switch to one of them, I just pop that little cartridge in. It's all on there, and I just go. The save pulls from the cloud. I just jump into the game. I don't have to worry about what's on the hard drive. It's very minimal impact onto my hard drive. I just have the carts, and I swap the carts very quickly.
$2 super chat from It's Me the Broke Boy says, listening to you two while playing Legion Go S Steam OS. And then prior to that, he had said first thing he did when he got his Xbox Ally X last year was upgrade the hard drive.
Yeah.
Then Logan, you got a question from Kusanagi who says, doesn't it take an SD card for extra storage?
It does. It does take an SD card. It's right at the top, which is actually kind of the nice thing is that much like the Nintendo Switch, you have that cartridge slot. Mm-hmm. With the ROG Ally, you have this SD card at the top, which means that if you actually have a few of them, much like how I treat my Series X, where I have 2 memory cards and an external 2 terabyte that I keep on plugged in for Xbox One and 360 games. Mm-hmm. You can have multiple SD cards, have games installed on those, and then just pop them in or pop them out depending on how you want to play. So that is very much an opportunity there that is afforded because you can actually use the SD card slots, which is cool.
Gotcha. Broke Boy, thank you so much for the super chat, man. We really appreciate it. A lot of those have slowed down post SGF, and we totally get it, right? But thank you. We really appreciate those, man. They really do help. So thanks. Nissa says handheld users unite. I love my handheld. That's I've always been a handheld gamer, right? Vita prior to the Steam Deck, Vita was one of my favorite systems of all time. Yeah. I'm loving my Switch too. I really you're selling me on the Ally X. The price point's what stops me, right? That's what stops me. But that is, you're selling me on much.
Well, I mean, the nice thing is that the Steam Deck went up in price, so the market value for the Steam Deck is a lot higher right now.
You're right, and I'm $2 closer thanks to Broke Boy. There you go.
It takes one super chat at a time, but you'll get there.
Good morning, A-Chick. It's good to see you. So let's see, what did I want to oh, right. You mentioned Division 2. Okay. So our good friends at the Nerd Chat have been playing Division 2. You've been playing with them, working through the expansions. And I realized that I had played Division 2 when it came out for coverage long ago. I'd put 20 hours in long ago. And then you did something, and I'm really upset with you, if I'm being honest.
It's fair.
You're like, oh, yeah, they're doing a crossover with Dead by Daylight. And I, of course, Dead by Daylight, you say. So I looked into it. I logged in. I saw what was going on. Long story short, I am now the proud owner of the Ultimate Edition. and I bought it last week, and I've been powering through. I'm almost to my trapper mask, and I've been living in Division 2, loving the experience. They've done a lot of great stuff with that since its launch. Boosted my character, my 20-hour character. I boosted it to level 40 because they have that now, so you can do the expansions if you buy them. And then, and this is yell at Cloud. So I bought that Ultimate Edition, or like with the stuff that was in it, right?
Yeah.
Last week. Yesterday or so, it went on sale for $20. So I was like, oh, thanks. Cool. I'm out $45. But I did gift it to a friend of mine. I was going to gift it to Suddy and my buddy Kev.
Yeah.
Both, just because like this is now our game. I can already tell like we're all in. Like Kev's already, I got Kev addicted. And Suddy had already bought it. And so we're all addicted. Loving what they've done with that game. They've done a lot of really good stuff. And it reminded me yet again that I really enjoy Ubisoft's formula when it's handled well, right? When they approach it properly and they don't just rush it, because they've done some pretty rush job versions of their open worlds.
Yeah.
But Mirage was really good. I did the review on Assassin's Creed Shadows last year, and I love Shadows. You did a review on Black Flag Resynced, which I know we're going to talk about in a bit. But the benefit of a lot of those games, if you're into the story, they have pretty decent stories. Some of them are great. Like I loved the story in Shadows. But for Division, I haven't paid attention to a bit because I'm putting on a lecture or a podcast or an audiobook or something and just going through and enjoying leveling and augmenting my gear and stuff. And my buddy Kev, he's min-maxing and doing the math. And he's like, okay, I need this gear and I need it. And I don't care about any of that. Like when I play Diablo, I'm just like, I want to look cool and kill things. That's how I play Division. Well, my buddy Kev is min-maxing everything, and both of us can live in that world. But it was because of this crossover. I always talk about IP gets me. I'm chasing that free battle pass. I'm not chasing the standard one, but I'm enjoying progressing it, figuring out all these progressions in there, hearing you guys at the Nerd Chat enjoy playing with each other because you've been playing with them. And it's just fun. And I really just am glad that I went back to it. And it's a testament again to, you can play an old game that they keep updating, and that's awesome. So
yeah, I will say I've always loved the Division. Anytime I drop in or anytime I have a reason to jump into Division 2, it's the quality of life features from 1 to 2 are there. It has been fantastic to go back to New York. I think there's something about New York that just plays well with the Division game, and maybe this is just the nostalgia of 1 hitting me with the Christmas during like a pandemic and having that game come out when it did and whatnot, and seeing how well they did creating those cities. It just genuinely like a very awesome experience. I'm glad you're enjoying it because it's one of those things like I've had Division 2 for a long time, never really pushed much or had a reason to go through it. Playing with the Nerd Chat guys, it's been great. Unfortunately, we ran into a bug last night where we were beating the last guy, and the fight, unfortunately, was actually very lackluster, and we ended up bugging it out. And we ended up having to restart the entire thing because we just could not get like the boss to come out of his little cubby hole to fight us after halfway through the fight. And it's just like we left, we abandoned, we joined back in. It was the same thing, and it was like, oh god, we're really gonna have to do this whole thing over, the whole thing over again. And that's only happened to us like twice over the last 6 months of us playing this, and we've only ever been able to play like late Friday night or late Saturday night, and that is it. But we've been having a really good time going through, seeing the different like Bacon and I love to go through the city and like actually walk from place to place, loot stuff, help people, take out patrols. Dan is very much like, we're going to fast travel here and get this mission done. And Jose is very much like, I'll go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a walker most of the time, unless I'm on a time crunch, but I don't care about loot.
Yeah,
I just don't, because like once you boost your character to 40, the min maxes are so small, at least to me, until Kevin explains it to me, and then I'll be like, okay, I'll chase this. But like, I'm just going through and enjoying. Real quick, this incredible person, Tommy-925EB, was good enough to give us a Park the Bus gift. Don't know what that is. I saw it in the chat. It looks cool. But also drops a $5 super chat and says, not sure what the Park the Bus gift was, but it was cool. It was cool, man. Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. $7 towards an Ally X. We're crushing it. We're crushing
there
it.
You go. You're getting closer. You're getting closer there.
Every day. Maybe that'll be like my graduation present. I don't know. But Nerd Chat, that's where I've seen Tommy. Not Nerd Chat, I'm sorry. He's in Trophy Room. That's where I've seen Tommy. It's good to see you. Now I'm connecting the dots, my friend. Good to see you. Nerd Chat is hanging out and says, Luke's here to kick butt and chew bubble gum, but he's all out of bubble gum. Yeah. I do that. I like to look. This is true of me. I like to look cool and play low stakes and turn off my brain when I play games. I don't like to, in those kind of games, have to do a lot of thinking. Diablo, Division, Arc Raiders, anything that's like live service. I don't want to think. I don't want to process those numbers and balancing. I want to just jump in and do cool stuff.
Yeah.
Other games like story driven games, that's a bit different, right? But like, that's just how I enjoy those kind of experiences. And I always bring a Sherpa in our live service stuff. That's why I bought it for my friends. Cause like you guys figure it out. I just want to play with you. I just want to hang out.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Our buddy Freight Conductor says any type of loot game, the drip game is the true end game. Yeah. Yeah.
Very much. I was very happy. I got enough through the Dead by Day because there's like 3 days left on the Dead by Daylight event. I was very happy. I got my hat and my duster and my zombie face. And I'm walking around pretending I'm the ghoul from Fallout 76 or Fallout the show. And I'm like, I'm good. This is fun. This is how I want to stroll.
I've been doing the Oni mask. So I look like a demon. But I just switched over to the ghoul face just for kicks. But I really want that trapper mask, which is the last one. But what that meant was now I'm having to live and like learn the systems and figure out stuff so that I can progress the season pass stuff faster. Right. and so it's like, okay, I see what they did. Good job. Hey, look at that. It's me, the broke boy, now a channel member. Thank you, my friend, as well as Tommy, supporting us every day. We get closer every day.
Yeah. Thanks, little steps to that big dream of getting that Ally X.
There we go. We do have codes to give away, which we need to do later on. Sure. Broke boy, look at you. Says keep an eye for an open box on the Ally X, Luke. I got an open box like new from Best Buy for $850. Still high, but a better deal. Not a bad thought.
This one I didn't get for quite as good of a deal. Mine was in it was immaculate condition. And it's funny enough, like they had to rip open the box because the sticker goo got the little sleeve done. So like the outer shell to the box is completely done. But this was open box and I got it for 900 instead of the 1,000. And so far, everything has been fine on it. I haven't run into any issues. I think someone did exactly what Dan does with everything, which is buy it, try it for the return period, and then return it if he doesn't keep it. I think he's actually kept his Xbox Ally X as well too. So that would mean that all 4 of them, I think, have one now. But yeah, I have to say that it takes a little getting used to with the weight compared to like a Switch 2 and a Logitech G Cloud. But yeah, anyone that's been looking at one of those Ally X's, Best Buy and their return policy, if you have like the $30 members thing, gives you like 2 months of return policy on that for anything, which is actually pretty dang good for tech. So I'm going to be using this at least for sure for like the 2 months to see if I like it. But I'm already scoping out JSOX docks for this and screen protectors because I'm very sold on the experience. It's been a very positive experience when I'm like trying to chill out in bed and just putting something on and just like giving myself an hour or two before I fall asleep. Yeah.
I really review those JSOX docs because I'm working on my Switch dock review, like two different Switch, etc. Not liking the dock, giving me issues.
That's the Switch 2 dock that I have from them is good, depending, because it's essentially it's just I have the carry-on case with the hard shell, and there's a layer of a buffer that you put down into the dock, and then you slide the actual Switch 2 with the JSOX carry case on top of it. It's good in some cases and not so good in other cases, but so far it still works well enough that you can justify having the JSOX shell on it. I'm curious to see, because the dock that they make is just a straight dock with a cable that goes into a back, a bunch of IO ports on the back, and then a little cable that goes into the top of the handheld itself. So very much like just have a little brick that it sits on and plug it in so that it'll plug into your TV. And I'm actually looking to see like if that would actually be a better way to go.
Gotcha. Tell me what you think, because I'm curious, because I get audio drops on my current one, which we'll talk about, I'm sure.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's me, the broke boy, really helping us out today. It says I've got 7 handhelds: Switch, Switch 1 and 2, PS Portal, Legion Go S, Steam OS, dock to a TV, JSOX dock, 2024 ROG Ally X, and the base Xbox ROG Ally and the Xbox Ally X. Goodness, broke boy. Bravo.
Wow.
Bravo, man. I love that. You got it, bro. Goodness gracious. That's awesome.
I think I've got 4 now, because I have my Logitech G Cloud, my Switch 1, my Switch 2, and now the Ally X.
Yeah.
So I'm up to 4.
Switch 2, Steam Deck. The list is over. I don't think of it. Yeah. I could sell my MetaQuest 3. I could sell that one. All right. Let's see here. Broke Boy, we've got codes, man. We've got codes to give away. We do have like that code list that we were working on helping people out with. Dishonored's on there, Wolfenstein's on there. We need to look into how we can help people out, because there's some good games on there that we can send some love to there.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah,
Broke Boy, goodness gracious, another $5 super chat. Last one towards the goal. Last October, I got a Legion Go S Steam OS, 32 gigabyte memory, 1 terabyte hard drive. New at Best Buy for $850. Same model now is $1,600. Dang. That's cool. That's cool.
They're pretty nice. I will say there's something about portable gaming. Like I genuinely think like the next light I have to take, I will probably be taking my Ally X instead of my Switch 2, because I think I can pack more games onto it and the experience will probably be better. But I also think that that's because I'm used to playing games that aren't Switch related. Yeah. So
that's fair. Broke Boy, send me a DM on Discord, man. I'll send you the list of codes we got. You take your pick. Just thank you, as a thank you for the support, man, because we appreciate it. All right, Logan, Black Flag.
Yes,
we got to talk about it. So they sent me a code, and I was pushing to get you one, because you're the right person to review this. Keel hauled for years, since I think 2017. Pirate fan galore, tattooed on your body that you love pirates, and I love Black Flag. Love it. You had not played the original Black Flag, so your review comes from this wonderful place of knowing that it's revered, loving pirates, knowing what good pirate games and weak ones look like, and then boom, you get resynced, and you texted me on the first day. You're like, well, I'm 15 hours in. And I was like, what? You just got it 15 hours ago. And that was cool.
For anyone that has watched it, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been one of those things where Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I had played a little bit of it, and I had gotten into the aspect of like, okay, I know that you're like doing a VR kind of experience where you're playing through the memories, and you've obviously got like the whole thing with Abstergo Entertainment and how there's the Animus and how like every Assassin's Creed is based on the memories of a person in history that is around a specific time period kind of thing. But I'd never really like spent much time with it because it was dated and it felt weird. Like and to this day, I still think like having you run with the right trigger is just, it's such a choice that I'm like, man, I was not expecting that going back to the original. So getting to sit down with Assassin's Creed Resynced, I've been very happy with my experience. I think it's by far like one of the best pirate games I've ever played. And I mean, I'm talking like I've gone through back like the Disney Pirates of the Caribbean games, you know, like the Lego pirate games as well too. Like Sid Meier's Pirates in the past. Like there's Windrose is out there. That's a great one as well too. I've played Atlas. I've played Black Wake. There's like so many pirate games out there, and trying to find good ones is tough. And it generally comes down to Sea of Thieves and Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And seeing that Assassin's Creed Black Flag is one of those ones that everyone's revered for. When Skull and Bones was out or coming out, people were asking, you know, we just want Black Flag. We just want Black Flag. You know, why are you making Skull and Bones? Just remake Black Flag. Now that they've actually done it, the online discourse that is trying to build a narrative. Excuse me.
He's coughing, everybody. He's coughing.
I'm talking too fast. They're trying to build this narrative around the fact that Ubisoft has all this DLC on Steam, as if that hasn't been a thing that Ubisoft hasn't done in the past, or that Capcom doesn't do in the past, or Sega does in the past. And that they've like gone in and made characters more ugly, or they've censored stuff. It's like they're trying to build this narrative to try and tear down this remake, which is done with the Shadows engine. And it's kind of crazy because everyone that I've seen that's played this game, with maybe a couple exceptions here and there, have been enjoying the experience. And we've already seen that Ubisoft announced that they have sold 2 million copies. Mm-hmm. They've already actually put out a notice. Let me see if I can grab the link to it real quick, so I can read it. But there were criticisms of what was going on with the cutscenes and stuff. So Ubisoft actually put out a statement that said, to everyone who's jumped aboard the Jackdaw, shared their adventures, posted screenshots, which is a new feature, which is, dude, the screenshots in this game are amazing. Shared gameplay and celebrated this with us. Thank you. We've been following your feedback closely. Many of you have helped us identify issues that need attention, including localization and VO issues affecting some territories, or the 30 FPS bug on PC, which is something that was there. But dude, when it comes to a cutscene, 30 frames per second is standard for film. 24 frames per second is standard for TV. 30 frames for a cutscene does not bother me at all. It doesn't feel weird. It's a cutscene. It's intended to be cinematic. So they said, we want you to know that we hear you and we appreciate every report, and our teams are already working on fixes that will be rolling out very soon. In the meantime, we invite you to flag any of the issues with their bug reporter, and to celebrate the milestone of 2 million players as a thank you for the support, they're granting a Crimson Storm sales to customize your Jackdaw, which is your main ship, along with 1,500 Animus keys that can be used to purchase unique items from the exchange, which is kind of like their season pass, or like their extra content kind of thing. Like they have like some, I actually really like some of the content they have in there, because they have this Dark Animus set, which is like a purple, like, or black or teal cosmetic set that has like a monkey and a ship set, stuff like that. Those are all with like Animus keys that you have to find in game to be able to like purchase in the exchange in there. So
can I already give that?
Yeah.
Not purchased with real money, correct?
Not real money. This is okay. This is stuff that you find in game, as far as I'm aware. So that's something that I'm just like, you know what? That's cool. They're giving a little code out there to celebrate the 2 million, which, given that the game came out on the 9th, is pretty awesome. Because we're 2 days in, they've already sold 1 million copies per day, and they announced it yesterday. So congrats to them on hitting such a good number so quickly, and for them taking the feedback as well. So they also said that these rewards are going to be available for free to every player who purchased Black Flag Resynced and will remain available for a limited redemption period. So if you want that code, I can put it in chat real quick. If you did actually buy it, you just have to go to their website to actually redeem it. But that's one of those things that's like, I'm happy for them, man, because I enjoyed my experience with Resynced. I think it is worth the money if you've never played it. If you have played it and you go back and play it and think this is still good, then maybe hold off, because Ubisoft does sales, and they do sales on a fairly regular basis. And over time, it just becomes more and more accessible. And much like with Game Pass Ultimate, eventually stuff will make its way to Ubisoft Classic, in which case you'll get access to it through Game Pass as well. Just really depends on your budget, your interest, and your desire to play it right away. But for me, I really loved it. I was very tempted to actually buy the collector's edition, because the Edward Kenway sitting on a throne with a ship wheel kind of statue that they have with it was very much something that I was just like, dude, this would look really cool with all my other piratey stuff.
So couple things. First, real quick, Broke Boy selected Black Ops 6. So we just gifted that to him.
Nice.
And thank you for supporting us, Broke Boy. Yet another gifted membership now. So we gave him, we just, as a thank you, Black Ops 6 is now yours. We've DM'd him that, so we appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, big time, man. Such a wonderful supporter. But Assassin's Creed Black Flag, at the time I pulled scores, Logan, 88 top critic average on OpenCritic, 84 Metacritic, 96% recommended, really doing well. A lot of people praising the visual overhaul, water tech, naval combat. Kenway continues to be amazing. Performance, a lot of quality of life stuff. Criticisms, the mission design still feels a little 2013, and some of the stealth systems feel a touch dated. Now, your review was extensive. Do you agree with those praises and criticisms?
So the story and the quest designs are going to be reflective of like what was in Black Flag. So to expect anything different out of that would be to be asking them to do too much of a deviation, in my opinion, from the original game. Which I think if you're going to remake a game, you can do it in a new engine. You can improve the graphics. You can have some quality of life things as far as like the actual gameplay goes. But the story should actually like feel right. It should feel like along the same lines and the same pacing that you had with the original. I want to say that the extra content that they put in feels good. And they've added a new plot line in there post a certain sequence that opens up a little bit more story around a very particular character. They've also done a good job of kind of adding a little bit more to some of the characters that are in the game as well. And I really did like, I love that fact that they did that. The stealth, I will say, depending on your difficulty, will trivialize some of the combat. I think the combat's good. I think that they've added some new features around like the parry system and the heavy attack that add a little bit more depth to a 2013 game. It's not as nearly as robust as like what it could be, but it's robust enough for a remake and doesn't deviate so much from the original that it feels completely redone to the point where like people who enjoyed the counter system it would be upset. But I can also say that diehard fans will probably not enjoy it nearly as much as the old counter system that they had back in 2013. My main issues were realistically around some of the parkour. I think Ubisoft does parkour better than any other company, but I still take umbrage with some of the ways that the design is, where you could be running full sprint and hopping from roof to roof. Yeah. Oh, you're going to be right back. Real quick. You can be running full sprint from rooftop to rooftop, jumping from beams to beams. And then every once in a while, you'll hit like one thing that just like stops you dead in your tracks. And that always feels rough in some cases, or sometimes you'll be going to a specific place and you'll want to jump to a specific ledge or something like that. And it just doesn't quite know what your intent is, and it tries to make up for that, and it doesn't necessarily do exactly what you want. And that's no fault to the game. The game is designed to go the way you want, but it makes me feel like I have enough freedom to be able to run and jump to go wherever I want. So there's one of those things that it's like, I would love to have a little bit more design around that, but I still think that the shadows design around parkour is still one of the best out there.
I apologize for stepping away.
No, you're good.
Oh man, did you? I apologize again. I apologize. Did you get to say what you wanted to say about Black Flag?
I did. Yeah, I would urge folks, if you want like more depth on how I feel about the game in general, the reviews there. It definitely has a lot better explanation of what I liked and what I didn't like, and how I felt about it going into it based on like what I played with the 2013 version versus jumping into this version.
Good. I have it. It's definitely one of those games that I want to play. It's a summer game for me. The problem is I got hooked into other stuff, which I'm like, oh no.
Which isn't Doom somehow.
That's right. The Doom
DLC?
Revelations DLC. I have not touched it. Haven't even thought about it.
Mr. Doom guy. It's almost like I thought you were a fan.
I'm a diehard fan of Doom. Dark Ages is different. It's an approach to Doom in a different way. That doesn't always feel like Doom, but I loved Dark Ages. Like I'm pretty sure I did a review for the channel, and like this is just a quick aside. That's probably our least viewed section of our channel is our review section, but I feel like we've done some good work there. But I'm pretty sure I did a Doom Dark Ages review. Yeah.
The DLC is supposed to be a little bit more eternal, though.
Yeah, which has me excited. Quick shout out. Gentle Stone says "do," which one would think Doom.
I think Doom.
Yeah, maybe. Perhaps. He said it's fire. Doom DLC is amazing. He follows up with, and then our good friend Jeff Troidvania, who I really enjoy his content. Says, hello, friends. Black Flag is my favorite AC game. I don't know if I'll play the remake, though. So, Jeff, I'm going to call you out right now. This is the second time you have greatly offended me, good sir. You have not played Star Fox, and now you're thinking you're not going to play a great remake of a great game. I doth protest it, sir. I doth protest it. Crazy talk.
What I will say about the AC Black Flag is this is, as far as I know, this is Ubisoft's first true remake. They've done a lot of remasters, but they haven't done like a remake. And I'm very interested to see if they decide to go back to like AC 1, 2, and 3 with Ezio and bring those into the Shadows Anvil engine and see if they decide to start doing what Capcom is succeeding with.
I don't see how they don't, because the Capcom formula is absolutely the way it should be to bring modern audiences in. They've done a very good job with Capcom specifically with not doing just remakes, but blending in new stuff with that with the old stuff, but making it all feel good so that new gamers can get into the series. Nintendo's adopting this same thing with how they've kind of redone Metroid Prime Remastered, done that with Star Fox. I think that's what Xbox is doing with Halo Campaign Evolved. So, and they tried to do it with Gears Redux, but that was done badly. But a lot of these companies, big and small, are realizing that if we want to continuously enrapture people into our pillar IP, we need to make that pillar IP easily accessible, available. I shouldn't have to play a 15, 20-year-old game on 20-year-old game mechanics when it's done better in more modern fashion, because that would push people away, right? Like the Master Chief Collection is incredible, but it's even dated now. So if you want people to play that game from 2001, you got to update it. And in updating it, what you do is you get access to modern engines, game mechanics, and you're able to bring people in. And that is what Capcom has done. That is what Xbox is doing. That is what Nintendo is doing. And that is what Ubisoft has done here with Black Flag, and also with Rayman Legends Retold. We played that at SGF. That's a wonderful wonderful remake of a great game. And don't sleep on that, guys. Especially if you like 2D platformers, because what they've done with Legends Retold is impressive. And clearly that game is a experimentation in the tech to build new, you know?
Yeah. And unfortunately we saw on the launch of AC Black Flag that a good chunk of that team had been laid off, unfortunately, which very much sucks to lose your job on the day that the game is launching and see success. Because I absolutely think that it would have been good for them to take that team and put it towards a new remake of like AC1 and 2 and 3. Because I think, especially with like the design and the story, Ezio is just one of those. Or is it Ezio or Desmond? I'm blanking.
Desmond's the modern, like the modern version, like in present day. Ezio is one of the early heroes from Assassin's Creed 2 and 3. No,
I think it's 2. I'm getting them confused. It's been a long time. Yeah. But yeah, I would say it would be great for them to do that. Unfortunately, I think that was one of the situations is that Ubisoft employs a lot of studios for their games, and not all of those studios are going to be ones that are needed after a game's production's done. So, you know, it sucks, but I'm glad that Ubisoft at least sees success with Black Flag, because I think that the team that worked on that put a lot of love into recreating that with modern day aesthetics and design philosophies, while still kind of retaining like the heart of it.
So you got a couple comments here. Broke Boy saying, check the top shelves in GameStops for collections that have been discounted. That's a good call. Or collector's editions that have been discounted. I've seen that.
I do see them from time to time. Very tempting. Some of them are not discounted though. That's the schnikey thing is that it's like, why are you still selling that Batman Asylum for $300? Get out of here.
Yeah, for sure. Tegan says they've got us open in another channel with our good friend Kay Asante's The Gaming Circle. That nice to be in that good company there. I love Kay Asante. He's just good people.
Smart dude.
Very smart dude. Very smart dude. And my favorite part as a teacher is that he teaches his kids STEM. So grateful. So grateful for that. Let's see here. All right, Logan, we've talked about Black Flag, talked about what we've been playing, just waxed poetic on the ROG Ally X. And honestly, man, you make me want one. I really do want one. I know I do. It would
be better for you with your Xbox library and your Steam library, especially if some of the news that's going on about Xbox and what they might be doing with discs and digital come to play.
You're right. So this past week, we saw another slew of news out of Xbox. Bloomberg doing some great reporting. Asha Sharma penning an open letter to employees, but also posting it, which again, I want to say clarity is kindness in all things. When you are clear with expectations and purposes, and this is true of all levels of leadership, of relationships, of friendships, clarity is kindness. Asha knew full well, I'm sure, and her team rather knew that, the letter is going to get out because it always does. So just posted it for everybody. And in that letter, talked a lot about the vision of the future, the restructuring, what they're doing with Mojang and King, celebrating the retirement of one of their former executives, Dave McCarthy, promoting Helen Chang to the new COO. Chang, of course, coming from a Minecraft background as well. Genuinely, they removed 14 layers of management in some areas, which makes sense given all the acquisitions. It is also a damnation that all existed in the first place. That wasn't addressed sooner. We'll talk about that in a second. Resetting the content strategy because Xbox was losing 64 cents to every dollar they were spending, which is not a good enough margin to keep studios and IP alive. Talked about what it means to be restructuring. Bets on Game Pass, multi-platform publishing and such weren't panning out the way that they wanted to do. And so what that meant ultimately is that 4 studios are going to be leaving Xbox, as well as some job losses. Some of those job losses are wrapped up into the studios that are leaving. So there's a bit of, you have to be kind of careful with that one. But roughly 1,600 employees are affected immediately, and they're aiming for a total of 3,200 during fiscal year 27. And something that Jason Schreier has been very clear about is that means that about 1,600 people don't know when their jobs are going to be cut, but it's going to happen. Right now, confirmed, Compulsion Games is going to become independent once again with its IP and funding still intact. Double Fine will return to its independence with its IP, and it has a runway for funding. Ninja Theory is moving on to new ownership and will continue to work on Senua. Undead Labs will move on to new ownership and will continue with State of Decay 3. Now, that is 4 studios that are not being shut down and that have funding for their projects that we saw at Game Fest, or at the Xbox Showcase. That's a win for Sharma's team. Make no mistake, we can lament job losses all day long, but at a C-suite level, when you're reorganizing a company to shift, that is 4 studios that all have their projects intact and have retained their independence. That is a huge C-suite win. That is not me shilling for Sharma, but we've spoken to several people in the C-suite across our time. I was speaking with one just yesterday. For her team to have pulled this off, in freaking credible. It sucks the job losses that exist, but these studios are not shut down. Now, the last one, Arcane. They're exploring strategic options through required consultation because Arcane is set in France. They have different French laws that require different kind of processes in order to exit a company like Xbox and retain IP. There's just different laws that they have to accommodate. So that takes time. Now, let me make this very clear, Logan, then I'll let you jump in. It's been very dangerous to say on social spaces because right now, or because previously the focus was all on these job losses, which sucks. And we don't want to diminish that. But at a C-suite level, when you are addressing all of the things from the bets on Game Pass that didn't pan out, and that is not a damnation of all previous leadership, though some for sure, yes. At a C-suite level, when you are addressing all of that and realizing that the business cannot continue, otherwise it all gets shut down, and you exit out 5 studios without shutting them down, letting them keep their IP, letting them keep the projects that we just put on display, to me, this is a major win. And I say this very clearly, and anyone in the comments can condemn me for this one and whatnot. I am more excited about Xbox than I have ever been because they are now doubling down on pillar franchises, which is what makes me an Xbox fan. Halo, Gears, Doom, Forza. Yes. So I am lamenting all those job losses for those people. But the reality is the way things were, we weren't going to get Halo, Forza, Gears, Doom in the future because Xbox would have been shuttered. But now to get all of this, I'm more excited than I've ever been for Xbox. And I mean that. I am here for it. I love that Double Fine gets to keep doing what it's doing, but I was never going to buy a Double Fine game. I don't want Keeper. I don't want Kiln. That's not me, right? I was never really going to get into Compulsion stuff for
how dare
and all that stuff. Like, nah. Undead Labs, I'm here for State of Decay. Love State of Decay. And now I can still buy State of Decay. Yes. Senua. I love Ninja Theory's Hellblade 1, Hellblade 2. Very excited for Senua. But that took too long, and it wasn't getting what it needed to get done. But now I can buy Senua. I'm not missing out my chance to play those games, Logan. I can still play them and purchase them when they come out. But those studios are responsible for themselves now. You want to make Keeper and Kill, fine. Do what you need to do to keep the studio open. I can still play what I want to play, and Xbox is going to be healthier. I'm more excited now than I've ever been for the brand of Xbox. Ever. That's a
dude.
Damn cool feeling.
I've been hearing a lot of folks say this, and I want to echo it because I do genuinely think that it makes sense. In Phil Spencer's mindset, they needed to build a digital library. their go-to for that was Game Pass. And the best way to fill Game Pass was games and get people subscribed was to build value in there. And the best way to do that was to guarantee that content was going to get flooded into that from a first party perspective. So I honestly, and looking at what Phil did, he went through all of the studios and looked to see who needs help, who needs financial assistance. Double Fine was asking for like crowdfunding. Nerd Chat podcast comes in. Jose says, also chat, make sure you drop that like for this incredible duo. We have almost 40 concurrents. Let's show some love. Definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. We have Ninja Theory, who needed more funding to be able to do more with Senua. And they were purchased and then used it because they were having to do stuff like pick up games like Bleeding Edge that was shopped around to different studios. And not many studios were really wanting to make Bleeding Edge. And Ninja Theory's like, yeah, we'll take the bag. We'll make that for you. And then you have companies like ZeniMax, who, if you look at the time when ZeniMax and Bethesda was picked up by Xbox, they launched Fallout 76. That was it. That was their best thing going on next to like Elder Scrolls Online. They were struggling because they were still trying to figure out how they were going to get Starfield out. They were still trying to figure out how they were going to get Redfall out. Deathloop was still on the docket. They still had Ghostwire Tokyo. Like, and don't get me wrong, Fallout 76, ever since they put in voice acting, ever since they made pacifist mode a default, ever since they did the expansions to the game and they put in full quests and a full campaign, that game has come a long way, and the community has been there and supported for a long time. They've done a great job with like the housing. They recently, like last year, did fishing, stuff like that. Like they've done a lot for that game. But when Fallout 76 came out, it was a little bit of a Cyberpunk 2077. Like that was our fall. That was our winter. We had Fallout 76 and Cyberpunk 2077, and gaming was a little rough. So my point being, when Phil was buying companies, it made sense because he was looking for the wounded animals out there that he could nurse back to health and get in return content for Game Pass. That is not working. So Asha coming in and saying, hey, great that y'all came in, you got healthy, you had some fun times, we had some good experiences. Some of our pillar franchises are hurting, and we need better content for those. We need those companies to be making content more frequently and enjoyable. I am still one of the people out there that is upset that Halo Infinite never got a sequel or more content for the campaign, because I love the campaign of Halo Infinite. And they said this is going to be a 10-year ride. And I'm like, sign me up. Let me know how much I got to spend. And then they're like, we're letting go of everyone for the campaign. And I was like, why? So I could have Keeper?
And that sucks.
That sucks, man. That sucks as a fan of Halo. I'm glad Keeper is a thing that exists, but I would have much rather that money gone to Halo Infinite campaign. I would have loved to have another Gears game. I would have loved to have Gears 6. Have some of those stories tied up. Gears 5 ended in a way. It ended in a way, and I still like it, but it's one of those things that I'm like, another game would have been really great by now, but we haven't had that. And to be perfectly honest, man, like it sucks that studios are being pushed out of Xbox, and there have been layoffs, and there are still another good chunk of layoffs going on. The amount of layoffs that have yet to happen are the same amount of people that got laid off like right at the bat. My company that I work for, that is one of the leading industry companies for like the industry that I'm in, they laid off more people than my entire company has. That is crazy. It is insane to think that the company that I work for, roughly 1,200 people, is still less than half of what Xbox has yet to lay off. And that sucks. That sucks for those people. It sucks to think like, am I just here for the ride? Am I just here to till a project ends and then I'm going to be let go? And that is the reality of what gaming industry is like right now. That is very much like, You work the job. When the job's done, you're probably going to be let go because they can't afford the overhead to be able to keep you on for future content or something like that, depending on the type of game that it is. And that sucks, dude. That sucks to have that insecurity in your job that you moved to a studio to go do. And I don't want to make light of that, but I agree with you. I think, yes, if Asha has a budget, and that budget is for 2027, and she's looking to see what is going to be profitable for Xbox and keep the Microsoft heads okay with this thing still existing. And the promise is, we're going to focus on pillar games. We're going to focus on AAA experiences. We're going to build value within the console through exclusives. And the only way we can do that is if we find the money. You're not going to sell that. You're not going to find enough money on other ecosystems to make up for just pushing some of these studios out of the first party business, let them go back to being independent and focus on the studios that were originally what you've got. There are some studios like Rare right now, just confirmed today, 198 employees. They're making a decent amount of money on Sea of Thieves. They're safe. That was nice to hear because they already dealt with layoffs as a result of Everwild. Also heard that the Craig Duncan was going to be part of the layoffs and decided to leave on his own terms because he didn't want to be associated with the closures. Mm-hmm. And that was before we found out that those studios were going to be closed. Mm-hmm. That was going to be a thing. And people were upset about that. And then Asha and her team decided, okay, let's see if we can get them on an exit strategy that ensures that they aren't just getting no work. And that to me is wild, that they are listening enough to the reception of what's going on with Xbox as a community and saying it would be cheaper and easier to just kill these studios, to lay them all off and not give them anything, to retain the IP and use it and put it in a box and stick it in the attic for a later time when nostalgia is the right moment to bring back those games. Mm-hmm. But they didn't. Mm-hmm. They gave them the IP. They gave them a runway. They gave them new ownership, or they gave them their independence. And that didn't have to happen.
It didn't.
And I'm so glad that it did, because I genuinely want Compulsion to make another game like South of Midnight. The talent there is great. They need a little bit of love. And sometimes when you do not have that buffer of I'm under Microsoft, I'm under Xbox, I have that safety net, you work a little harder. You care a little bit more about the stuff that you're putting out. Things have to make money. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't necessarily that is not something that you can just ignore when you're an independent studio.
It was very strange to watch some of the reactions to this, because I think you and I are in full agreement. Like, the reality is these things needed to happen for Xbox to live. They managed to do it in a way that it's corporate magic, and which is that's a terrible phrase. I hate that I even have to say that, but like, these studios can keep making their game. Fine. If you think Keeper and Kiln and whatever else you're working on will keep your studio going, rock on, enjoy it. The IP is yours. The fact that they pulled that off is remarkable. And they got some very kind words from Double Fine and a few others. I can't remember. It
came out. It lost, I think, like 50% of their staff. Mm-hmm. They came out and said, hey, we're about back down to what we were when we first made Doom. Well,
Doom 2016.
Doom 2016 brought Doom back into relevance.
Yes. Yeah.
If it wasn't for the team that was working there. Now, granted, a lot of people at the studios were there who did amazing things. They did.
Yeah, we're not celebrating job losses. We're celebrating the IP and the studios able to still live.
Yes. Go ahead. It sucks that people that did some really cool stuff for these studios were let go. But that is always going to be the case with layoffs. There's no way to escape it, because someone who's been at a studio for 30 years is getting paid a lot more than someone who's just recently been brought into it. And you're losing a lot of knowledge there. And that really has to be weighed against what you're going to be looking to do with the studio in there. Mm-hmm. But at least this studio is still alive. At least they are still able to make games And at least they are still able to say like, yes, we feel confident that while it sucked to lose a lot of our friends, we can still proceed.
Now, one of the things that I want to continue adding to this conversation is right now, proof remains in the pudding. I genuinely think it was a fantastic Xbox showcase, which was, it had a black cloud over its memory when we knew all these layoffs were coming, which I think that black cloud is mostly lifted because these projects aren't dead. None of these projects are gone, right?
Yeah.
So that is great in hindsight, continuously in hindsight. Again, I appreciate clarity because I think clarity is kindness at all forms of relationships. And we have a roadmap now. The question becomes, and I said this on Defining Duke, I said it on Trophy Room, I'll say it here. The proof is still in the pudding. It must be proof in pudding, right? Like, okay, campaign evolve needs to be good. We played it at SGF. We have not gotten our coverage codes, review codes. I'm not breaking anything there. Campaign evolve must be good. Call of Duty must not have those down years, because a down year of Call of Duty meant damnation. Okay, gotta be good. We need to see Gears of War E-Day hit. Clockwork Revolution better be strong. Don't set up a game for failure, making it launch at $80 when it's a $50 game. Nintendo has learned this lesson. PlayStation's still figuring that one out. That's not a damnation to them. They haven't launched they're still figuring it out, right? Proof is in the pudding. All right, you're gonna have $1,000 console. Why? Why do I have $1,000 console? What are you gonna give me? Exclusives are back on the table in perpetuity. We know that Clockwork and E-Day are exclusive. More are coming. They've said that bluntly. Again, clarity, kindness. They've come out and said, we are going to have more exclusive content to our platforms because we need you to buy an Xbox. To me, if they're doubling on pillar franchises, and they've even made a point of saying Obsidian is now on Fallout, Avowed 2, Bloomberg, Jason Schreier, Avowed 2 is canceled, and they're on Fallout. Quietly, a team is still working on Avowed 2 because it was further along than before. This is Jason Schreier's reporting, which I loved Avowed, right? Like, I looked back at Logan. I did a review for Avowed. We did a spoiler cast, and we interviewed the dev. We love Avowed. Obsidian, we love Obsidian because Outer Worlds, we did an interview. You did a review. Grounded 2 interviews at this point. You did the review. We both got tons of hours in that game. We love Obsidian. The proof is in the pudding, though. Get the games out. Obsidian consistently is delivering because Avowed was good, but like they're like, no, it's not good enough. Fallout. We don't have a Fallout in play. Bethesda, let me tell you something straight up. I wish Bethesda was doing Fallout, and I wish that Obsidian was doing Elder Scrolls, because I trust Obsidian way more than Bethesda. Bethesda Game Studios, the ones, because Starfield didn't deliver what it needed to. And I love Starfield, but it didn't do what it needed to do. I'm sorry.
I don't need to go on that soapbox again, but I agree. I trust Obsidian to be a lot more consumer friendly when it comes to their design philosophies. I feel like the rigidity behind Bethesda right now is solely on Todd Howard.
It's absurd.
I don't know, man. There's quality of life things like encumbrance that I just don't care about. And I know that's a very specific thing to call out, but that's something that I think Obsidian very much like addressed with Outer Worlds 2 that made that game so much more enjoyable. And as much as I love Fallout, I honestly kind of wish that Obsidian was able to do all three. I wish they were able to continue doing Grounded 2 and continue building out that. Like, they're teasing the underwater section for that, and I'm excited, man. But like, I also want them to do Avowed 2 because I really loved Avowed 1. I thought that they did a really good job with that game. And I think that there's still room to grow in that. It shows that they understand like how to make first party or first person feel good with melee, which is very hard. Doom, like one of the few games that I think actually does it well as well. But
Doom, Avowed,
I think Indiana Jones does pretty good as well too. They're a little, it's still like like Machine Games is good, but I think that they moved.
You say Indiana Jones, and this is a really good, I think, adjacent point here. Machine Games and Indiana Jones, it's a great video game. Machine Games did a great job making it. And what I said all in the lead up to it was, who cares? Because Indiana Jones is not a relevant IP. Right or wrong, not dunking on the game, because the game's great. Machine Games does great work. They did a great job with it. It's critically acclaimed, but it doesn't connect with current audiences. Right? They should have 007 first lighted it, not used Harrison Ford, modernized it, made it a Tomb Raider-esque something. And like, say what you will, that Indiana Jones does not connect. It does not connect. If it did, it would have done better. I'm not dunking on it. I'm putting out there that if the reset is pillar franchises, popular things, like just as much, Logan, E-Day has a similar challenge. How do you make Gears of War relevant? I love Gears. But how do you talk to current audiences? You got to find a way. And what they're doing is ditching their competitive element, wall bouncing, all that stuff that locks people out on a competitive basis. And they're adding in sliding and other stuff. So I'm putting this out here because just because the olds like it, the graybeards like it, the established like it, even our audience and us like it, you've got to talk to an audience that is spending money at multiple demographic levels. And that's what Asha's job is. Now, I don't know Asha. Like I said hello. She looked at me and said hello. And that was the end of the conversation, right? It wasn't like when I've talked to Phil many times on, public, private. We talked to Sarah. Like, it didn't feel the same. But the job is make Xbox profitable, make the franchises relevant to people that are going to spend money, and get Xbox in a place where the situation's not dire. They want to reach 1 billion gamers a day. First of all, it's not an irrelevant thing to do in modern times.
Irrelevant?
Like, it's not an irrelevant thing. Like, eventually 1 billion gamers a day is there. Right.
Oh yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But her job is to get Xbox positioned to live. Well, I want to keep playing Xbox games. That means no Indiana Jones. It means Fallout. It means Elder Scrolls. Right. That's that's where I'm coming from on this one. I'm not trying to offend anyone.
Oh, I'm trying not to be
offended. I'm not trying to offend, but tell me what I'm offending.
I mean, that's the thing to me. Like, I have a hard time envisioning what an Indiana Jones would look like without Harrison Ford being kind of the face of that, because we've only had like a couple instances, like, R.I.P. River Phoenix as like a young indie. And if you really want to go back, there's like the young Indiana Jones TV show and books. I think that would probably play better because it would align with audiences who grew up with Uncharted and kind of telling a story that isn't hindered on an old dude running around looking for artifacts and stuff. But that is like, I mean, that is kind of like, I'll be honest. I do think that is falling in line with making a Bond game without Daniel Craig or Sean Connery or Roger Moore or, any of the established Bonds that we've had in the past. And I think that
all the old Bond games we saw a Connery, we saw a Brosnan, we saw Daniel Craig's in Bond games.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do it First Light did.
No. And I to credit to your point, I think that has credence. I think it would have to be something that would trail off of, because I think what we're looking at is Gears of War is looking to reset the timeline for Gears of War E-Day by going before Gears 1, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have Gears 1, then you have Gears 2, then you have Gears 3. Gears 4 changes things up, moves with different characters, and goes from there. But you have kind of like what Star Wars does with their movies, where you can kind of live between the movies with certain projects. I wonder if Gears decides to go that route as well. Same thing with Halo. Like, does Halo start to build out games that are in between 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 kind of thing? And I mean, having Xbox focus on these pillar franchises with these cuts, I think will do well to service fans of Xbox. Mm-hmm. Whether or not that actually garners interest from other people will truly depend, I think, on the barrier of entry to the content itself. Like, Halo Campaign Evolved coming back. Wait, yeah, Campaign Evolved coming to PlayStation will show whether or not there's interest in Halo. I have a feeling that Halo will land in the same like Venn diagram as like Sea of Thieves and what was the other? Gears Reloaded. Like I feel like it's going to land into this like area of some interest, people probably buying it on PlayStation because they want the physical to like say like, oh, this was when Halo showed up on PlayStation.
So not a Forza is what you're saying.
Not a Forza,
Gotcha.
Which Forza 6, still no date on that one yet. Still very nebulous on whether or not Forza Horizon 6 is actually going to happen.
If they're serious about making Xbox the reason to own an Xbox, right? And they pull that one, that means that their buyout clause, because they didn't pay the buyout clause, because for anyone that doesn't know, once the deal is penned for Fable, for Campaign Evolve, and so on, for them to back off of that PlayStation launch, they pay out. They pay PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
So that could be the case, or it could be like, no, we're putting it out there, but. And if they put it on PlayStation, I hope they do like Game Pass exclusive perks, right? Because they need to incentivize people to come back. And they've got so much good first party, even now with these exits, then they need to keep incentivizing. PlayStation does a very good job to its audience, or it did, it doesn't anymore, of saying, hey, you have a PlayStation, you get these perks. They've kind of backed off, and now they just kick their audience in the shins, which that sucks. But do that, right? All right, you're getting this car pack because you're on Xbox. You're a Game Pass member. Here are these liveries for all of our first party games. You can race against PlayStation people, but you can have these special liveries or something like that, you know? Mm-hmm. They need to do that. But I think you're right. This is the best time. This is a weird thing to say, but again, stick with my meaning. A lot of the stuff that we're talking about can be misinterpreted easily. So stick with the intention. But this is the best time for these resets brand wide to take place, because they're lining up with Campaign Evolved, with E-Day, Forza 6 is successful, Fable's getting its reboot. They're lining up with all these reboots. So you land those, you're in a good place.
It's amazing to me that right now Xbox is doing so well at launching first party content. And I feel like the content that they have coming down the pipeline is potentially going to be stuff that, as we start to see like more and more exclusives out of Xbox, we're going to see that value. It's really going to see like whether or not this is going to prop up the Helix to actually be successful. I think one of the things that's come out of all of this news is that Xbox is trying to do right by their heads, the heads of like, you know, who's above them, while also still not trying to step on rakes, where they know that they have to step out there and like say bad news, but they are very much trying not to step on rakes, which is honestly like the last 6 months of Asha being in charge of Xbox has been exceptionally well received, because I think that for all intents purposes, it felt like Phil and Sarah were out there stepping on rakes every single week. And it's just one of those like, hey, you guys took a step forward and now you're taking 2 steps back. And now it feels like this was a hard choice to make. It was something that they worked hard to try and not have to do. But I think honestly, like it was inevitable. We knew it was coming. We can't be upset that, you know, this kind of shocked us that this was something that was happening. I genuinely hope that this is kind of like how Xbox treats stuff in the future, because I'm tired of what was going on with Phil, where we would get a first party game, it would be delayed and then announce that it's like, oh, well, you know, it's coming out and you know, you can play it 4K, but you're only going to have 30 frames. And, you know, it's, you've got all these caveats to this launch, and you get in there and you're just like, why am I playing a 30 frame per second game right now in 2024, in 2025? This is crazy. So stuff like that, I felt like I wanted to be excited about Redfall. Redfall was not ready. It was not any place that it needed to be launching, and it very much should have like been something that they could have done. And it's one of those things that I'm just like, it sucks that this has happened, but I want to believe that the future is justifying this pain now. Mm-hmm. And that's, we're going to have to see how that goes.
I think a lot of the Spencer era, not Bond era, but Spencer era decisions, mm-hmm. you can track why they existed, the intention of the business, and then what the bets that played out and didn't play out. A lot of the bets were good bets at the time that didn't play. And I'm really excited for the retrospective that looks at why these decisions were made and not made, because truly, a lot of Phil's choices make sense. And then you look at what happened. Like, nobody predicts pandemic. The subscription services didn't kick off. The intention was to get the digital library available to users, try and bring them in.
Yeah.
And the problem was they didn't have the software to sell the box. So they made all these initiatives to get software to sell the box, and Starfield wasn't ready. Redfall wasn't ready. Infinite wasn't ready. Delays are the problem. Bad management. But like, the bets made sense at the time, and it's just like, oof, that didn't pay out. But you talk about stepping on rakes. Clarity is kindness. We've seen, like, Sharma's team said, hey, the next 100 days are going to define us. Well, they sure as shit are. Pardon my language. Sorry, Red Beast. And again, I say I'm more excited for Xbox than I've ever been. Mm-hmm. Straight up excited. I just am. And if that doesn't play out, fine. Proof is in the pudding. The game's got to be good. Campaign's got to be good, or Campaign Evolved's got to be good. EDA's got to be good. Fable's got to be good. You got to nail it, but I'm still excited. What happens with this $1,000 box and so on? Let's see what's up. Right? Like, I don't want to spend, I want a ROG Ally X. You sold me, right? Okay, but can I do that and get a Series blah, 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 Helix? I don't know.
Yeah.
Switch gears ever so slightly, pardon the pun, to PlayStation, which stepped on a rake, you can say. But I don't. Okay. Clarity is kindness has been my message for the last hour. Mm-hmm. PlayStation said, hey, we're done with physical. Right? We're not doing physical anymore. Discs are not happening for us as of 2028, which obviously suggests that the next PlayStation does not have discs. And surely Helix doesn't have discs either, right? The difference is, and we talked about this last week, based on our current reporting and current understanding, Xbox is experimenting with a way to make your physical library available to you via digital, like disc to digital programs. That's what PlayStation was missing. You do that, you don't have nearly the problem. Because right now they're saying, hey, God of War La Fé panel at, I think it's Comic-Con or something like that, doing this, and every comment they're getting hit with, well, what about physical? Is it going to have a physical version? And Santa Monica has to come out and say, yes, we're going to have a physical version for God of War La Fé. And then same with it. They put out this thing about a fight stick, and they're ratioed on socials for
every post except for God of War Black Ops has been ratioed.
God of War Black Ops?
Sorry, Call of Duty Black Ops. They did one post about Call of Duty Black Ops from PS3 coming to there. So Xbox is like, hey, Activision, you guys want to like toss out one of the old Black Ops? And they're like, yeah, sure, we'll go ahead. So every single other post,
all digital, right?
All digital.
Oh, they bought it. Okay.
Yeah. Every post since then, and I haven't checked today, but as of like yesterday, they had like 15 posts. Every single one of them, even on some of the other like other country accounts and stuff like that, they have been ratioed. And it's people in there like, you think we were going to forget? You think that it's been so long that we forgot? And it's like people.
But pissed. I call BS. They're not going to stick to that. Like, they being consumers, and I'm not. Mind you, I'm an all digital consumer. I'm not dying on this hill, but like, I call BS. They're still going to buy it. They did it with Black Ops, right? Everyone's going to still buy digital because this is a social outrage movement that's going to just peter and putz. And that's why PlayStation's not going to back down. Like, you can be mad all you want on socials, but if you're buying Black Ops digital, if you're buying digital stuff, if their sales are still 80% digital, okay, they're going to drag you kicking and screaming. Straight up. And it's not just PlayStation. right? Nintendo has offset their physical carts, but $10 more. All right, the $10 cheaper for digital. We're looking at variable pricing models and so on. I'm not dunking on anybody that likes physical, but it's the way of the dodo. And the easy way that you remove the rake is say, hey, gamers, we appreciate you, we value you. Here's our disc to digital program. Because making drives, all the components that go into a disk drive, the readers, the lasers and stuff, the weight that it costs to ship a console with the drives, the weight that it costs to move things around, cellophane, plastics, etc., you're just kicking up your costs unnecessarily. And they're not going to do it, guys. Not for 20%.
And that's the crazy thing is they're still going to have to ship box cases with codes in them, even after all this news.
That'll go away by 2030.
I mean, cool, but that's still like an additional 2 years of eating cost in shelf space, because it's not just the case. It's the marketing material. It's the show, the actual leasing of space in shops. Like there's partnerships, there's shipping, manufacturing, there's like delivery costs, there's orders and contracts that you have to do. It's like, yes, Sony makes the discs. They still have to pay for all of the cases, all the packaging, all of the marketing material, all the people that are behind making all of those and making those choices and making those deals, like finding the right retailers and stuff. So it's like, dude, they're still going to be eating a decent amount of money for a while.
But consistently reducing that amount, because soon it's going to be pictures. Soon it's just a picture. Hey, you want to buy God of War 4? Okay, go to the register and they'll give you a code.
Yeah.
It'll all be.
I will concede to your point, because I will see if people truly care about physical, because I have a code for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced that I'm going to be putting in chat. There is one digit that is being turned into a question mark. This is an Xbox code, so you have to redeem it on Xbox, but you can redeem it. There is one number that is in the code that is replaced with a question mark. So you have to find out what that number is, and whoever finds it first is the one that's actually going to do it. If you care about physical, you better not redeem this code. That's what I'm saying. If you're one of these physical warriors, you're gonna have to eat it and not use this code.
Tegan, what he means is he's gonna paste in this Xbox redemption code, but it's gonna have a question mark replacing a digit, and you guys in the chat have to figure out 1 through 9, 0 through 9.
Yep.
What digit it is to redeem it. And his joke is that if you're redeeming it, oh, you didn't want it physical. That's the joke. But we also want to give away and support our community. So that's the joke.
The Ubisoft was given to us, or Ubisoft provided a giveaway code
to each of us, which we
each of us to be able to give away. This is an Xbox One, and this is one of those things like, if you want the code, you better not be one of these physical boys that are out there being like, I would buy physical. So
just like, this is entrapment.
This is it. So, but thank you to Ubisoft for giving us a code to give away. It's very nice of them to do that. It's not something that happens a lot. So I did want to provide this out there for you guys. So here's the code again. The last section of 5, there is one number that is replaced with a question mark. You have to find out what that is to redeem it. It's trial and error. So good luck out there. All right.
Yo ho, and a bottle of rum. The code is in the chat. Let us know when you are done.
Yeah, definitely let us know as well too. And
we do want to know who got it, because we do get these codes from Ubisoft. We gave one to Clutch. Whoever redeems this one, please let us know, because Ubisoft provided it. We want to make that very clear.
Yeah.
Logan, did you paste it twice?
I did, just to make sure that if people just want to like select it, if they may have trouble with it and stuff. So
okay.
That is out there just as a code if you want to do it, but the question mark is still in there. So you got to figure out what that is. It's I couldn't do X marks the spot because X is a viable, like possible thing, but question mark pretty much goes as well too. But good luck out there to whoever gets that.
Tegan said someone has it, but that person needs to tell us that they got it. That's the thing.
Please let us know so we can thank Ubisoft for that as well too. But Luck of the draw on that one. So, but dude, the whole like disc Armageddon or disc again thing is, I think, what Todd Oxtra had posted in our Discord as far as like question marks, or questions for the show. It sucks, dude. It's one of these things that I think, like, if Xbox can pull the rabbit out of a hat and say, like, we've got a disc to digital system, I will absolutely go out and start looking for some of the games that I have that are digitally, and saying, like, okay, which of these that I have physically do I not need? Which are ones that I've wanted that I can find on the cheap, that I could actually switch over. But Todd Oxtra over in the Discord, one of the members, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for writing in this question. Says the Disc-ageddon is giving PlayStation major backlash. Xbox's disc to digital feature sounds like a great feature if you've invested in discs in the past. Considering all of the cost saving initiatives at Xbox, what would you do to make physical owners happy with the Helix, but not add cost to the digital only owners? And this is a question that I'm sure they are probably talking about right now. They're probably working out, like, how do we get people that are physical onto a digital console without incurring more than just the cost of the console? And I don't have an idea right off the bat, but I imagine it's what's up.
I've interrupted you too many times. I keep doing it, but I do want to note the disc to digital for Xbox is reported, not confirmed.
True.
That is the one caveat I want our audience to be tracking if they're not tuned in, because it's not confirmed. So,
yeah, and that's one of those things that's like, if they do it, that would be a great help to move people from physical to digital. Because at least it's not taking away the physical; it's just offering the opportunity to grow their library. I think one of the troubles is that I don't know how you go about doing this. Like, Nintendo had this problem a long time ago with their DS library. Like, there was a lot of people who had the opportunity to make their games like available I think it was. Oh, it wasn't their DS. See, and unfortunately, it's been so long, I can't remember the details on this, because I'm trying to remember if it was from the Wii to the Wii U or from the GameCube to the Wii. But there was a way that they basically said, hey, for $1, you can transfer your game over from one library to another. And I can't remember what that was, but it was $1 per game. And it was basically saying, like, hey, we know that we've kindly cut you out of this generation, and we kind of screwed up on this past generation, so we're trying to do right by you. We are going to allow you to transfer any games that you have currently for $1 over to the new console. And it's just one of those things. It's like, I hope that that's something that they do, but I don't know, honestly, like, how they plan to go about this, or how they're able to really facilitate physical owners with this disc to digital without charging them, without adding some sort of cost. There has to be some sort of like cost associated with just using it, because otherwise people are just going to be trading discs all the time, and people will get ownership to something that they didn't actually buy, which at that point, depends on whether or not you actually believe buying is owning, in which case you're bringing up whole licensing thing, and whether or not ownership online is actually something that exists, or if we're just leasing licenses to access content.
So Xbox has an easier avenue for this, because the Xbox One discs are keyed, very similar, not in the same way, but like same premise as a game key card. Like, they're specifically coded. So you could put it in and be like, assign this to your account, put it into your Series X or to your Xbox One, assign to your account, one-time use. There you go. Like, that is a doable thing. PlayStation has a different route. I don't know what that is. Nintendo chose game key cards, which makes sense for memory purposes and such. But as long as there's a physical to digital avenue, I don't think it's an actual rake for anybody. I think there's social outrage, but I think that social outrage is because people enjoy being upset digitally, and then they continue their purchasing power. Everybody that's listening to this knows that Amazon is a terrible company. You know that Apple employs slave labor to make their screens. You know that Samsung does the same. You know all these things, and yet you know that Coca-Cola does more polluting, like the Nestle company and Coca-Cola do more polluting than most companies, and yet still purchase Coke, still use an iPhone, still use Amazon on a daily basis. So like, we know, but we still act as on consumers, and there's an element to that. I just think it's a matter of there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, says Jeff Troy Bennett. That is exactly my point. The social outrage that is engineered and that exists is fine if it remains and is matched by action, which if the Black Ops 3 digital launch on PlayStation is any indication, this isn't actually a level of outrage, right? And that's the question mark around all of it. That's the question mark, like for all the upsetness with, and maybe I'm part of the problem, all the upsetness around all these layoffs and such. I'm more excited than ever about Xbox.
Well, so I don't think that there's, because here's the thing. Like, I think it is very much the case that it's like, how do you manage this? Is one way to protest to go out and make purchases physically so that you show that Sony, that there is value in physical, or do you just not buy any games at all and you try to hurt the company as much as possible, which in turn, to be perfectly honest, is going to damage the studios more than it's going to hurt the actual company. Because it's not always going to be first party games, because Sony only releases like one first party game a year at this point. Little dig, but I'm a little bitter because I'm still waiting for Wolverine and there's no collector's edition. And if there was, I wouldn't even be sure that there was a physical disc. Unlike Xbox, who's actually doing a pretty good job of putting physical discs on all their collector's editions, which I was pretty surprised about because they've been pretty dead on physical for a very long time. Tangent aside, I am very interested to see how long this is going to last, because I don't think it's wrong for fans to be upset. And we've recently seen that there has been EU commissioners who are saying that there's no recourse for legislation to be able to be made that can restrict Sony to continue producing physical, which means that the avenue for that is you have to empower digital ownership. In that case, if you're going to lose out on physical and you can't force them to continue making physical, then the best you can really do is ensure that rights are better secured for consumers when it comes to actual digital goods, if that's the way that they're going to go about that. But it's one of those situations that it's like, I don't know what fans who are just trying to enjoy games do in this instance. Do you not buy anything? Do you just play your backlog and trust that, you know, you have enough games to sustain you till, 2040 or 2060, depending on how, what age you're in? Or do you only buy physical? Do you only buy used? Do you how do you approach this to where you can feel secure in your own ethics with how to protest this, if that's what you want to do? But I do think that eventually folks will come around to it, which is why I think that Sony has tried to throw this out as early as possible, because 2 years is a long time for people to become accustomed and accommodate to an idea of change that they don't like. And eventually, there is going to be a breaking point. Eventually, they're going to move the line closer and closer to the consumer, that there is a reason for them to step over and make that choice.
Tragedy plus times equals comedy, almost universally. So this sad thing plus the time before it actually happens, they're gonna be like, that sucks. All right. And they're gonna move on. And that'll be how it is handled. I appreciate that Sony decided to go first. I'm surprised they bumbled it the way they did in terms of messaging. Perhaps they thought next to the Xbox news, their thing would get drowned out. It almost feels like the two of them are getting all their bad news out of the way and hoping that one, out voices the other. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's just a matter of fiscal year timing, which is fine also. I don't really care if I'm being blunt, because proof is in the pudding. I'll buy the games that look fun, that are good, that are enjoyable, that value my dollar. I was recently on Lord Chris from the Iron Lords. Lord Chris he launched a new show, and he was had me talking about like my gaming memories. And it occurred to me as I was listening, like I bounced between like back when it was just one system you could have, Nintendo and PlayStation and Xbox. And I bounced between them because I always go where my dollar is most valued. Right. And this generation, Xbox, for Xbox Series, Xbox One S and on, I felt my dollar was most valued. Game Pass was affordable. The system wasn't overpriced, had the games that I wanted to play, and I felt I was valued as a customer. Sales were good. Now it's a matter of, okay, well, it's very expensive to switch ecosystems, so it's slightly different, but I would buy a Helix or PS6 or a Steam machine or whatever it was where my dollar travels the most, plain and simple. And it looks to me like they're all trying to figure that out as well, because brand loyalty is not a thing I have. I have IP loyalty. I want the next Halo. I want the next Gears. I want the next Doom. I want Spider-Man 3 to be really good, right? I have IP loyalty, but all these rakes that are being stepped on are completely negated by one good game that people buy. Plain and simple, right? And I think our friend Matt Piscatello over at Circana often says, like, well, the problem is the black hole games, because Xbox has this massive library now, but they can't compete with Fortnite. They can't compete with whatever. But then that's why they have Mojang. That's why the Xbox doubled down on Mojang. That's why they doubled down on all these things. And the EU not being able to handle the digital, the disc to digital element with legislation, it's a bummer, because we do need legislation across a number of things. That's how we got USB-C. That's great for consumers.
Why Nintendo's having to change their battery deployment for their Switch and accessories and stuff.
So much, So let's shift to that. Thanks to that EU legislation, Nintendo is replacing their battery in the original Switch design in a number of their new units, but also that led to them discontinuing the Switch 1 in the EU. They're like, all right, we're done at this point. Now you have to get a Switch 2. We've had to redesign the Switch 2. It's not cost effective, but also that helps transition people away from old tech. But it's better for consumers that way, and it impacts worldwide. We do need that element for digital ownership, and I am very okay with it. Them not being able to address this digital aspect for Sony, it's a negative for consumers. And the only way Sony changes course is if mass numbers change, which I don't see happening. But I like this Nintendo move. I like them discontinuing original Switch. Soon the original one won't be available worldwide, and they'll shift to Switch 2. But it's a matter of affordability.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think the trouble is that the market for Switch 1s will start to increase on the used market, that aspect of it, because you won't be able to buy them new. And unfortunately, there's like the Switch 1 has a huge library of games, and it's still viable as a piece of hardware. It's just not as fast or as big or as flashy as the Switch 2. So you're going to cut out an increasing number of people who have no ability to afford or justify having a Switch 2, especially if it's for their kid, which is where I think like the Switch 1 and the Switch Lite have always tried to reside, which is like that affordability option, especially with a newer gen coming out. So that aspect of it always kind of sucks, but I would prefer that consumers have more viability to replace batteries and devices when lithium ion survives for a while, but your shelf life on the full capacity of a lithium ion battery these days is roughly about 2 years, 3 depending on the chemistry or the size. But given that we are increasing the lifespan of these generations, like the Switch 1 was 2017, here it is 2025 that they finally updated for the Switch 2. We're on the 6th year of the PS5 and the Series X and S, with maybe like 2 years now ahead of us. So we're looking at still like an 8-year time frame. Handhelds like this with lithium ion, you could do right by having a battery replacement after your 4th year. And Jeff Roydvania says, my 3DS battery is still going strong. I bought that new in 2016. for whatever reason, the Pro controller in the 3DS having the same battery, whatever it is about those batteries, man, they are replaceable for one, but two, almost insanely great at holding charges. I do not know what they do with those ones, but the Pro controller like has an insane battery life on that one, and it seems to hold a charge really, really well. But
somebody at DualSense Tech, please investigate this.
I can tell you right now, it's the size. The size of the Pro controller battery it's a bit of a little chunky guy compared to like the PlayStation DualSense. They just need to justify that as opposed to you blowing into your controller with a microphone that no one uses. Stupid thing. What do I know? But yeah, I'm glad that the EU is doing stuff to try and help consumers in ways that genuinely I wish my country here would invest more money in, because it feels like our governments that are in charge of like, things like monopolies and ensuring that there's good consumer laws in place to help protect consumers are genuinely just failing and to do anything, to act on things. Like the EU is actually open to Stop Killing Games, which is a movement to try and prevent studios from just shutting down servers indefinitely for games that are online, so that there's no way to play them. Like, I know that there's a cost involved with that, but it's one of those things. It's like people are losing access to games because companies are just killing the game because it's not profitable. They can't sustain it anymore, and they're not going to pay for the servers indefinitely. So there's rules and stuff that are trying to be added in the EU to give consumers more rights. Mm-hmm. And I genuinely don't know why more governments aren't trying to do that when there are agencies that is their job.
So I think size and lobbyists, and that's a pretty big
fair. Yeah.
Size and lobbyists. We're a huge country. The UK specifically is smaller, and so Tegan, neither of us are Canadian.
I'm not afflicted with that, thankfully. Very, very happy.
Lately, man, I'll take it. We're just polite. I do want
to shout out to real quick. I just want to say shout out to Silkenit. I'm sorry, my French brother.
I do love Silkenit, man. I'm halfway through Spreading the Nerd this week. And sorry, not Silkenit, but Butch, Freight Conductor, and Clint always do a good show. I enjoy them, but Silkenit's in that chat all the time. So
yeah.
That is one of my favorite parts about our Discord. I'm going to plug that real quick. That patron, like we have our Discord, it's $3 to get into our Discord via Patreon or channel membership here. But we have a section where content creators that are also patrons can just drop their content. And I love that. I even put out a note last night, just that I love that I can just go there and watch Save the Game Media or Spreading the Nerd or the Fandom Factory and so on. Just, it's great to be able to support people. I just love that.
Yeah. Or a little personal aggregate of friends making content.
Yes, that's it. Go click. I'm watching my friends talk. Love that. Love that.
He's saying he's lazy. That's what he's saying.
It's easier. Well, YouTube algorithms aren't always reliable. Straight up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, don't even give me that. You follow people, then it never pops up. It never.
Yeah, it's a shame they don't have like a whole sidebar that shows like all of my subscriptions and a little dot next to it to let me know when there's new content, or a notification section to let me know when new videos or comments are made on stuff. Like that'd be great. YouTube, why don't you make something like that?
Tegan asked if he can drop links in here. No, we save that for our patrons over in the Discord, my friend. Sorry, man. Let's see. What did I want to talk about? Oh, we were on Nintendo, kind of talking about it tangentially. So I know I talked last week about the Metroid Ravenous leak, which Nintendo ninjas went after, right? They were like, yo, knock it off. But I got to I did some digging just because I was curious. So there's multiple Metroid projects in queue and another Star Fox project in queue, which I'm so excited for. But it was funny because I started Metroid Prime Remastered. Really different experience than Metroid Prime 4. Because and that's the interesting part. Is like I'm playing Remastered, it's still very good, but I'm like, where do I go? What do I do? It's not user friendly. and it's still one of the best games ever made. But it's funny because I'm like, Prime 4 looks way better. It just looks way better, even though I'm playing through these gorgeous environments and really well designed stuff in Prime 1. But it's neat to see it and like be able to do that like fast comparison point. But it makes me think back to our previous conversation about like rebooting and making things accessible. I know Ravenous is on the way. Super Metroid Remake is a thing that is being tossed around. Primes 2 and 3 are gonna get some sort of remaster treatment, but unsure of the quality because like it's all like, you know, mix and match type stuff. But I love that Star Fox sold well and is continuing to do well because the multiplayer in Star Fox is great. And they're doing a thing in Tetris 99, which I got all my unlocks in. I just like seeing the brands that are not like like 3D or Mario and Zelda are kind of like Nintendo's two biggest pillars.
Yes.
Right. But we're seeing these like Star Fox and Metroid start to get a bit more oomph and support. Hopefully Mario Kart World, which did get an update, hopefully it gets a real update, like with more content, characters, tracks, and a price reduction.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
It's not. But that price reduction has to happen for that game to be big. They're shutting down World Tour, which is the mobile game, which is interesting. Splatoon Raiders is on the way, and it's doing a collab with Splatoon 3, which is not a collab. I was like, what are you talking about? It's not a collab.
Yeah.
It's like, we're promoting the Division 3 and Division 2. It's like, that's not the same thing. But I like Nintendo's moves lately because they're putting out stuff for their fans consistently with appropriate pricing in most cases, except for Mario Kart World. And I just think that's worth touching on.
Yeah, I think it's great that they're doing that. I hope that they are able to build a little bit more of an audience in Nintendo for those franchises or those IPs because I personally grew up loving those, like Super Metroid, still to this day one of my favorite SNES games. But at the same time, like, it's going to depend on the market, and Metroid Prime plays way different than any other first person shooter out there and it's just, that's the design around it. And I think that they had an opportunity with Prime 4 to kind of step out of that. I would love to see a Metroid Prime game that's in third person. I would love to see a Prime game that does a traditional controls other than like the lock-on feature with Samus in a first-person mode. But at the same time, like I'm just happy that they're going to continue making more content for Metroid and especially for Star Fox, because I think Star Fox has been, unfortunately, one of those games that is just like stuck in the same loop. Like, and unfortunately, that loop works for Zelda. It works for Mario. Like, Princess is stolen. Princess is in trouble. Go save Princess. Is it a fairy boy with pointy like ears and a sword, or is it a chubby mustache wearing plumber? That's the story. That is the story for Mario's and Zelda's. Like, that's your goal. With Star Fox, it feels like it's always just trapped in that one story, and they need to build out that world in a way that like Star Fox Adventure trying to, but you know, that was Dinosaur Planet before it was Star Fox. And unfortunately, it's just one of those issues that they can't just keep making the same Star Fox game. They have to make a fresh Star Fox game. Like, they have to bring in characters, they have to bring in story, they have to push it beyond just this. Let's start at Corneria, let's end with Andros. And
they are. They are.
Yeah.
That's what this was for. That's what this tech was for. They've got blueprints in Adventures, Star Fox Adventures and Star Fox 2. They've got blueprints for it. Star Fox Assault is a great approach. And I genuinely think what they're going to do is mix it, like bring a Star Fox Adventures like game, but like Star Fox Assault, you're in an R-Wing sometimes, you know? And that's just,
I think they could do a really good job of taking Fox, now that we have like established character models and stuff like that, taking Fox and the team out. If they really wanted to go wild, build out a 4-player campaign mode with like you still flying in R-Wings, still with landmasters and stuff, and still being able to like use the vehicles, but have those like missions where you're having to fight down corridors to get through bases to stop certain things, like, you know, build it out like you would like as if it were a Star Wars bounty hunter game or something like that, you know, like have some real kind of creative ideas and stuff like that. And I think Nintendo's good at doing stuff like that. I think that they're good at kind of like stepping out of the box and saying like, what can we do with an IP? But I mean, right now I'm genuinely just curious to see how they decide to approach Zelda Ocarina of Time, because I think that they very much need to have good reception on that, especially if they're going to try and sell us on a live action movie that is impending like 2027 at this point. Like if if Ocarina of Time remake doesn't hit well, I can tell you right now that the mind share are going to rail against a live action version of Zelda, because live action does not typically do well compared to the original medium that it was released in. And if you don't believe me, I guarantee you haven't gone to see Moana live action.
I'm not excited for Zelda live action at all. I'm nervous. I love the Mario.
Lord of the Rings proved that you could do. I mean, I grew up with like the cartoon version of the Lord of the Rings movies in The Hobbit. Yeah. So like for me, like it transitioned from cartoon to live action very well. But that was Peter Jackson with a buttload of money and tons of years to be able to build a trilogy out.
Pre-social media.
Thank you. Yes. I don't know that Zelda has that has that kind of leeway, and there's a lot, right? It's the same feeling I feel when they talk about making a Sea of Thieves movie, and the same feeling I feel when they tell me like, oh yeah, we're finally getting around to making a Warcraft movie, and I'm like, this.
Look, animation, digital animation are the ways I want to see these. Like the Mario Galaxy movie is perfect for a Metroid style game, which she was in the background very briefly, right? Like it's like, oh yeah, I want that. And then the Star Fox, people really liked the anime version. I didn't like the animation as much, but I think that catches on.
Oh man, that anime snippet from Super Mario, and shout out to Ajik for getting me a Super Mario Galaxy movie. I went back and watched the Star Fox animated segment in that one. I would absolutely take a Netflix series of that. Like absolutely. You can kill One Piece live action, kill Avatar live action. Like give me the animated Star Fox series I want. Like take the team that's making Devil May Cry or Castlevania or something, hire them and put them on Star Fox and Metroid. Oh, please. That's all
I'm excited for it. I know it's going to happen. It's got to happen, right? I say I know, like I knew the other stuff. I don't know this thing. Just to be clear. I my gut tells me it's going to happen. But if they want Samus to be a big deal, which I think they can, because if they build towards that Smash movie and a Smash game without Sakurai, like they're going to need those films, and I can see it.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. Logan, what are you working on? What are you going to be playing? What's coming up in your next gaming week?
Okay, so I don't know if I can talk about it yet, but we did get a review code from some good folks that we know from before that we met at SGF.
I didn't get the code.
You gave it to me for not for what you told me to sign up for, but what you asked if I wanted from Colby.
Don't even remember.
Oh my God. All right. So I'm pretty sure I can talk about it. Let me take a quick peek here. If I can talk about it, then I will at least announce like what I'm going to be diving into.
Are you reviewing it, or are you just going to play it for coverage here?
I want to play it for coverage because this is a game that I don't think a lot of folks really know about. Let's see. Where's the embargo?
It took me a second. Now I remember what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
In the meantime, everybody, if you haven't hit that like button, please do, and please go watch our reviews for Assassin's Creed and Star Fox. Please comment on those. It really helps us. Logan got a snarky comment about like why they would give us a code, because we do the work. was a great response, but we want people to see the work. So
yeah.
So you're gonna be working on that mystery game. I'll be working on the mystery game when the code comes in.
I don't think I'm not allowed to say what it is because I'm pretty sure I know other people have mentioned it. But Denshin Attack is the name of the game, and that's one that is coming out July 15th. So I don't really know that I'll have time to be able to do a review for it, but I do want to jump into it to be able to check it out. But that is that dystopian future where a train is like grinding rails. It's like it's kind of like Jet Set Radio or Tony Hawk with a train, and it's weird. It's
Tony Hawk's Pro Conductor.
Yeah, like it's a weird game, but it looks like a game that would be interesting to talk about. So that's one that's like I wanted to jump into it. It's one that's been on I think it's on my fantasy league for the Nerd Chat. Actually, I think that's one of the ones that I bought after I had it auto populate like my list of games for the year. I'm still slated to win the Nerd Chat fantasy critic, but that's one of those ones that I'm curious to see how people like it, because it looks like it's out of the Dreamcast era, which was such a good freaking era and stuff like that. But that's one that I'm going to be checking out this weekend and next week. And I think that it launches on the 15th. So that I think is working on that one. Outside of that, I'm working on the script for my GameSir review. There's a couple things that I wanted to double check on because of the questions that came in through the Discord. So I'm actually going to be doing a little bit more digging into the software side of the controller. But right now I'll say, like, for sure, this controller is one of the easy recommends for people as a third party, as a third party controller for folks to pick up. Like, absolutely. The fact that alone that it comes with a stand that'll charge your controller right there, already better than most first party controllers you can buy for the cost.
Straight up. I will be working on when that other code that we signed up for comes in. That's going to be my review project, which I'm sure we'll do some collaborative stuff there as well. And for the goodness sake, I need to get that JSOX case, everyday case.
Oh, case.
Yeah, the doc review is a different beast. I don't know how to do that, if I'm being honest. But the case, the everyday case, I want to talk about because I use it and I put in the time for it. It's just that school got in the way. But school and Division 2 got in the way. I should be very clear. I could have done it, but got to get that that thing. Those are on my to work list. Tegan asks if it's a Tony Hawk board behind me. No, that is an ID at Xbox skateboard signed by Phil Spencer from 2019.
Yep.
That was the first. It's really special to me because it's the first event I went to. Like it was E3 then. And it was very special. And then I met Phil that time, and that was the start of kind of getting to know it. So yeah, that is a special memory for me. Long removed now. I mean, I was a much younger man, a much different person, and my content was very different, but a good memory from a good trip. I got to meet the cast of Gears and Phil and Xbox leadership. They had just acquired Ninja Theory. I met the Sea of Thieves team. I have a signed poster from all the Sea of Thieves teams, and of course, I'm a pirate legend, and that was a big deal through the 2020s for me. So, it was cool. So.
Still hate indie games, though, which is weird.
Yeah, I hate them. Absolutely hate them. Never played a single one, actually.
Don't blame you.
Play them all the time.
Don't blame you.
I play so many indie games via Game Pass and Steam.
Yeah.
That's just...
None of them cozy.
None of them cozy. Yeah, I don't like cozy games. Don't like it. I'm so sorry, Nissa. I do love you, though. Yeah. All right, we got more codes to give away. I'm gonna drop one just randomly in the chat for a game called "Don't Feed the Monkeys."
Is this Xbox or Steam?
This is a Steam code.
Okay.
For "Don't Feed the Monkeys," and I am replacing. I am replacing one of the letters with a question mark, and I'm gonna tell you right now that the question mark is a W. Okay. And I'm telling you that so that no bots get it, because nobody told us about about who got Assassin's Creed.
I don't know if bots can work out question marks, which is why I like to put them in there.
So no, I'm glad you did, straight up. I don't know if they can either, but but we never heard who got the Assassin's Creed one, so I don't want to.
That's okay. That's okay.
I want to, I want somebody to get it. That's all. Because we've got a lot of good super chats from Broke Boy today, which we're appreciative of. We saw new members with Tommy, and Tommy gave us a super chat. Game Positive. Did we read Game Positives? I'm so sorry if we didn't. He said Luke is 100% correct. Job loss sucks, but Xbox didn't get the credit it deserves for the work to put in to keep those teams alive. Eric, if we missed reading that, I'm so sorry. We appreciate your super chat. Thank you very much. Sincerely, thank you very much. So, all right, man. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'm good with that.
Everyone, we hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. If you did end up getting that code and you're a little gun shy, please send us a message. That's it for us, everybody. Take care.